And then our freaking Tigers had a pulse offensively. Not a pulse. They had an athletic heart thumping, a horse heart going out of their chest. And I love to see it in person. And they did everything that we asked for, KG, which is nice. I mean, I wrote a handwritten note to Dabo, and he did it. So thank you, Coach.
If you missed it, Mac asked, what's the one thing we wanted to see from the game? Mac's one thing was he wanted to see the young wide receivers, Bryant Wesco and TJ Moore. Obviously, that happened. And all I wanted was 300 yards passing. And that happened almost in the first quarter. So we were very pleased. Mac and I were very pleased with that. Okay, let's get into that game, Mac. Clemson defeats App State, and Clemson scores 66 points.
Awesome.
Just kind of unbelievable in so many ways. 66-20, Clemson defeats App State. And I know there are probably other fans or fans of other teams listening to this, rolling their eyes, saying, guys, are we really? Because I saw those tweets like, why didn't you do it against Georgia? Which Clemson fans are asking the same thing, don't worry. But also, it's just App State. Who cares? And I understand that, even though App State historically is a very good group of five. I get that. But Mac, I think if you're saying that, you didn't watch the game. Like, I really do, because that first half, it was night and day. It was like this was a different team. If you had told me Cade Klubnik was going to tie a Lamar Jackson record in this game, I would have said, for what? I don't understand. You were there, Mac. Take us through what you saw, what you experienced.
Yeah, unbelievable, to say the least. And I'm with you with all that. Do against Georgia. Okay, has your team done against Georgia? No, they absolutely haven't. So anyway, we'll move on from that. I do want to start with this. I like it, it's hard to express. I love that we're on the road every week for the last 2 years, just because I love to do that. I love to go see everybody. Fans everywhere are amazing. So kind to us always. So kind to me personally, always. And just love seeing the people, the players, all of that. But there's something so much different when you're home. And I truly love it. I love being there. I didn't have enough time being home and being at Clemson. I probably took 250 pictures and just tried to relish it all in, because you never know when you're going to be back there. And so I truly can't be grateful enough to everybody that came up to me, spoke to me, kind words about our podcast, about our TV show, everything. It was really, really awesome. So thank you guys. A lot of you that said you watch us on here, so thank you. And then, just being there, KG, and seeing this, because I do think going into the game, we had our wish list, but we didn't know. And actually, not even we didn't know if it was possible. We haven't seen it. We've never seen this from this quarterback, from this offensive coordinator, and we haven't seen it from Clemson since Trevor Lawrence left. And so it's one of these things where it's like, we talked about this. I thought that Clemson needed to prove to Clemson they could.
Right.
And that's exactly what we got. The atmosphere was sick. I mean, the corners were filled. Everybody was pumped up. And again, we did some unique stuff on the show. I got to kind of do like it's Saturday night monologue from The Rock. So I left the show a little bit early, did that, and got down to the field immediately. Otherwise, I probably would have missed that first touchdown to Bryant Wesco. But we're down there. I'm standing in the end zone. It happens. And KG, I'm just sitting there. And I see him run the route, and then the ball's in the air. I'm like, here we go. Like, this is everything I've been dreaming of for 2 weeks, and it happened. And just the way he caught it in stride, kept going, and the place erupted. I mean, I haven't heard it like that in a while, just because it was like a combination of finally and this overwhelming excitement just from everybody. And then it just kept happening. It kept happening. 35 points in the first quarter. Nuts. And, I think Cade certainly, we touched on this. I thought there were things in the Georgia game that looked different, that looked better, but it just wasn't consistent enough, clearly, to be doing backflips about. This was 7 total touchdowns, 400 yards or close to 400 yards, all purpose, just insane. And so, the biggest question for me, and we can dive into wherever you want with this, the biggest question moving forward is, now what?
Yeah.
Now that he's shown he can do this, and again, I can't stress enough how important it is for him to see that and to remember, like, yeah, I am that guy. Like, I can do this type of thing. what does that equate to? I think honestly, and again, this is the last forward-thinking thing I'm going to say right now. I hate that Clemson has a bye right now.
Yeah.
I hate it. I want them to sprint with this momentum, and they have to pump the brakes, slam on the brakes, and just sit around for a week. So anyway, it was awesome. It was awesome to be there.
You're right, Mac. I was thinking the same thing. I don't think you want to buy right now after that, but that's just how the schedule goes. Mac, you alluded to Cade's numbers. ACC players with 5 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns and a half in ACC history. Lamar Jackson and Cade Klubnik. Just crazy. We never would have thought. And I think of all the stats from this game, the craziest stat to me is the first half. 8 possessions, 8 touchdowns. I've never seen anything like that. No. I don't care who you're playing. And that's kind of my point. You know, Georgia played Tennessee Tech and Tennessee played Chattanooga. And I'm not saying Clemson's better than any of those teams because they're not. But to do this, even against, and, you know, Chattanooga is like an FCS. The other teams are FCS. To do this against a group of 5 team, to have that kind of, like you said, consistency, efficiency, and the confidence. We have not seen the Clemson offense look this confident in so long. We've never seen Cade Klubnik look this confident. I don't think. Maybe the ACC championship, maybe that first game.
Yeah.
And I think the big difference in Mac, you've talked about this, his decisiveness.
Yeah.
He didn't get the happy feet. His pocket presence was so much better because he was getting rid of the ball. Like he didn't really.
And he was getting
to.
protected. Yeah.
The
guys were blocking their tails
we
off.
said the O-line was better against Georgia. I don't think the O-line was really the issue against Georgia. Of course, you'd be better to judge that than me. But I just have never seen that before. And Mac, from Cade, you know, you can bring up the criticism of Bryant Wesco only playing 12 snaps against Georgia. It is what it is. But those 2 guys, specifically Wesco, really stood out to me. He's a difference maker. He can take the top off the defense. He's got incredible speed. And his confidence stood out to me as well, Mac. That those guys have to be the center of your offense from now on.
Well, 1,000%. And again, what does that mean? You know, because I think what is fascinating, and I want to get to the play selection here in a second. What I think was fascinating was talking with Eddie Royal. He was like in a mirror image situation when he was a true freshman. Virginia Tech opened with USC, who was #1 in the country. Eddie said he had dominated camp, felt like he was a starter, should have been a starter. Game 1, neutral site or away, whatever it was, he did not start, barely played like only special teams. And what he said is he thought Beamer was protecting him and just didn't want him to get shell-shocked or anything crazy. Week 2, he was the starter for the rest of his career. And so it's one of those things where it was nuts to hear that he went through the exact same thing. And against Western Michigan, he went off. That was his first game as a starter at home. He went crazy as a true freshman, game 2. And so to kind of see that is just fascinating to me, and maybe a little bit more of the thought process behind it, that even with a 12-team playoff, you've got a little insurance, you've got a little time. And, you know, how much better is it for him? How much better is it for Clemson if something bad happens? I don't know. Weird to think about. A whole lot of different things of that angle. It is. It really is.
It's weird, though, for me for Clemson to have that mindset.
Sure.
You know, when you're supposed to take the field with Georgia and think you can beat them. But
and maybe it's not quite that. Maybe it's more the other guys are older, been there, earned it type thing. And Mac, they proved they weren't ready.
You've experienced this firsthand. We've seen Dabo Swinney tend to give the older player the benefit of the doubt, especially in the first game.
Right.
And it just happened to be Georgia. So we've seen that before.
Yeah, but I love that it wasn't a lingering decision. It was like, okay, you didn't make the most of your opportunity. We have competition. It's the next guy's turn, and he isn't looking back, it looks like. So anyway, that's exciting. I do have to give you credit, KG, because one thing I remember you talking about when we were going through this game, you were saying, can we have a couple of, 3-play drive touchdowns? Can we have a couple of 1-play? Let me just rattle these off. 3 plays, touchdown. 3 plays, touchdown. 5 plays, touchdown. 1-play touchdown.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Okay?
That's what it used to be.
It's been a while, but I love to see it. I thought the aggressive play calling was fantastic. There was even one in particular. I can't even remember if they got it or not. In the second half, it's in kind of midfield territory. It's 4th and down, no hesitation. Coach points right to Garrett, says, go, go, figure it out. Let's go. And I think, situationally, it was fun to see that. Fun to see guys making plays. A lot of wide receivers. Tyler Brown did, it sounds like, get a little banged up, and they pulled him precautionary reasons. Didn't need to have anything like that. Marcus Tate, same deal. Didn't even have to play, and thought that they looked really good. So I was ecstatic where Clemson was. I would be remiss if we did not give credit to Phil Maffa having an 83-yard touchdown at 230 pounds, running away from people. I was excited for some of the young guys behind him. Jay Haynes and DE, the young freshman, showed a little pop, showed a little flash. It's going to be really interesting just to kind of follow this younger class, because it really, KG, it's reminding me a lot of 2011, where we had a lot of young guys that were ready to play, and that's when you kind of saw some stuff changing, and the young cats got their opportunity over maybe some older guys that just were where they were, and it was good, but there was another level that Clemson could get to. So it's going to be fascinating to kind of watch some of those go throughout the whole year.
It will. I just didn't think that we would learn this much or care this much about how this game went. And
feels great.
That's why we had to start with it. Also, it seems like Peter Woods is okay. That was a scary moment.
Oh gosh. I went and watched it back too. I don't know if you saw it clearly.
It was really dirty.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
After that, I said, just take everybody out. And that's basically what Dabo did.